Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Sunniva.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Endless Winter Paleo-Americans.
This is a new game from Fantasia Games, designed by Stan Kordonskiy.
It plays from 1 to 4 players in 1 to 2 hours.
So Endless Winter is, ironically enough, one of the hottest games of the year.
Yeah.
You see what I did there?
Yeah.
Like it's winter,
it's cold.
which is cold.
Winter is coming.
Cold is hot, and that's something from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
I've seen enough of it to know that. So yeah, Endless Winter, a new game from Stan Kordonskiy. He's not called Star. Stan Kordonskiy, he did Resurgence, for example, which we just reviewed and enjoyed. And today we're talking about this game, Endless Winter, so let's do that. In Endless Winter, you are the chief of a tribe in the Endless Winter and trying to basically build up your tribe. So thematically, that's what you're doing. You are building villages, moving around a map to find places to live, gaining resources, getting new people into your tribe, and building up basically your tribe in different ways. Doing that over many years and many cycles of people. I don't remember.
Generations.
Cycles of people. That's
Cycles
a way
of
worse
I
way
got
to
what
say
you
it.
meant. Yeah.
Many generations. One generation basically each round. There's going to be 4 rounds. Each round you're going to do 3 actions. The actions are worker placement based. So you are going to place one of your workers. You have 2 villagers and your chief. You're going to place them on one of the 4 different actions you can choose from. And then you're going to use probably a bit of card play to get some symbols you need and to get some special abilities here and there. And then you're going to do the different actions, which can be hunting animals, moving around on the map that I just said, getting more people to the tribe. And the last action is for getting these culture cards and these sacred stones, which are basically for victory points. Then after you have done your 3rd action, you're going to take cards in your hand and make an eclipse pile, and then you're going to go through the eclipse phase, where basically you are bidding to be first player, bidding for turn order, and the player who bids the most of these labor symbols are going to be the first player, and then you're going to get some different bonuses depending on where you are. You're going to get eclipse bonuses from the cards you play, things that doesn't do anything in the other parts of the game but just works in the eclipse phase. And then you're going to get some bonuses from the map, and then you're going to get some bonuses from the things you moved away, kind of like Terra Mystica-ish, from your board, and score points for your sacred stones. And then you're going to continue doing that 4 times after 4 rounds. The player who has the most points is the winner.
Endless Winter has this classic Miko artwork.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoy his artwork. It's very unusual, but now it's kind of like you see his artwork and you know, okay, it's the Miko. I think I like how the game looks. It's we have like the player mask, which looks really nice.
Yes.
But overall, it looks like this winter landscape, which fits the theme very well.
Yeah, just to let you know, we did back this all in on Kickstarter, just so you know that. I really like the production is very good. Both the basic stuff that you would get if you buy the game and also the deluxe stuff that we got in the chief pledge of the game. But all in all, I think the production is really stellar.
I agree.
We got the big box version, so if you saw our cover and thought it was bigger than yours, it might have been just because we have the big box which fits all the expansions and has some extra trays and stuff like that. I'm happy. I was sure I didn't add that to my pledge, but I was really happy I did that, so you didn't have to have like 4 expansion boxes, because that's always horrible to have expansion boxes you can't fit anywhere. So I think this is like, if you don't like Miko art, you're not gonna like this, but I like his artwork, and I think that this looks as good as all the other artwork that he does.
Yeah, the game also comes with the rulebook.
It does.
Which comes in handy
when
learning the rules.
Yeah, you're getting it, but you don't use it.
No,
You never use it.
Listen to you.
Never
Try to.
It's a 20-page rulebook, but you have many pages already iconography on the back, which I enjoy. You have the different, like, what do things do, card abilities. You have the solo mode. It's not in here, I think. No, that's another book, so this is not including solo mode, which I kind of like, because then when I don't play solo, I never need to use that book. The book is great laid out. I think that the rulebook is well written. I think that the rulebook is I'm just going to check. The rulebook is edited by Paul Grogan, so then you know that it's going to be good.
That is good stuff.
Yeah, so when he edits rulebook or makes them, they're going to be good. So I think that this is a book that is laid out in a way that I can enjoy it and easy to learn.
It has a play rate,
It does.
this game.
Great.
Thumbs up for that.
2 thumbs up.
It's helpful.
Do it.
So thank you for adding this to your game.
And it has like, it's a small card, but it has all the faces basically.
Yes.
It doesn't have
A lot of
explanations for...
information on such a small card.
Yeah, it doesn't have any information about the actions, but they are very simple to understand.
Yes.
But it has all the faces, which is great to know.
We have played this game with 2 and 4 players. The first time we played with 4 players was a learning game, and that took us about 3 hours, which is too long for this game.
Way too long.
But with 2-player games, we have played it in around 90 minutes, which I think is nice for this game. I can see you getting it down a little bit, but I don't think you're going to play this game a lot of times with like in 1 hour.
No, maybe so long.
Yeah.
I would have liked it to be an hour.
Yes,
like
I
I would
agree.
have liked to be, and I think that you can get it a bit down. I think maybe like an hour and 15 minutes, which helps. It's not like 90 minutes. It's not a problem for me for a 2-player game. I think that's perfectly fine. It just like depends on what you get back from the game, and I feel like 90 is fine.
90 is fine.
If it was more, I would feel like it was a too long game.
And that is kind of the potential issue, I think, with the 3 and 4 player games. I think that those can drag out a little bit, and I'm not sure if I think that is okay for a game like this. I think maybe it can drag out that I feel like it's overstaying its welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think, for now, I have an interest to play it with 4 again.
No, not in the near future,
But
at least.
that is not unusual. Like, I feel like most of these kind of medium or heavier games are usually better with less than the
2 and 3,
maximum amount of players. And this game has quite a few different kind of mechanisms. So we're going to go through and talk a bit about them. So let's talk first about the worker placement part of the game.
Yes.
This has a pretty basic worker placement thing, but it has one thing I really like, which is different in this game than other worker placement games. So I feel like this is yet again like a worker placement with a small little twist, which I feel like I've said many times this year, and I like that. Because when you place it, there's only 4 spaces and there's no blocking per se, but when I place somewhere, I first get to do the top action of that part, of that action as many times as I want, which I can pay for. Then I move down and I can do like the other action there 1 time, and then I move 1 more down, and if I'm the first person there, I get like a bonus, so that's kind of the only thing you block. So then I get to do that thing, and the next player goes there, do the same things, but it doesn't get to do the last action. So there's only 4 places in the game. And what do you feel about like the different places, how they work? Like all of the game are in these 4 actions basically.
I think what they've done with the action spaces are interesting because I can go to a space and be like, okay, I want to maximize my efforts into this now.
Yeah.
It's really no roof or limits to how many times you can do it if you have the resources and work power, labor that you need to accomplish those things. And sometimes you know that you're going to do another action later that you need resources for, so you maybe hold back a little. So to decide, and that is a little AP problem for me, to decide how much to use on an action is it isn't a set number, so then I have to figure that out myself, but that is a cool puzzle.
Yeah, you talked a bit about, which I think is interesting, the fact that you don't feel like it's not so important which order you do things in, or basically which action you choose.
Yeah, I find myself, especially towards the end of this game, being like, okay, but I can do all of these actions, and I would get approximately, say, 3 points. Wherever I go, it's just like, do I get them through animals? Do I get them through, upgrading my tribe? So sometimes I feel like my way of deciding where to go is not the action itself, is who hasn't taken their bonus yet, what hasn't been taken, because that is something extra that I can get.
There is, and this kind of is in this part of the video, so I know we're actually going to talk about that later, so let's go to the next part, which is kind of like the deck building aspect of this game. And this game comes in the same genre as Lost Ruins of Arnak and Dune Imperium. Like, all people are gonna, if we don't talk about it at all, people are going to say, but what about this and what about that? First of all, they're different games. So it's not because they have 2 of the same mechanisms doesn't mean you only have to own one of them or the other. But we killed Dune Imperium and we have Lost Arnak. Lost Ruins of Arnak. Lost Arnak. Just so you know that for us. So let's not compare it to them, but you know that they have 2 of the But if people want to know, how do you feel like the deck building aspect of this game compared to those two games, and how do you feel like it is in this game?
Yeah.
So many questions.
Yeah. I feel like this is a slower deck builder, but it's still different than, for example, Arnak. It's slow because you're going through so few cards.
Yeah.
Here we're going through more cards. Your deck can get quite thick.
Yes.
So you might not cycle through your deck a lot of times, but you can potentially add a lot of cards to your deck, which you can't do as easily, for example, in Arnak. In this game, I feel like since a lot of cards are kind of the same, it just like gives some bonuses to the eclipse phase and gives some extra labor when you're choosing specific actions.
Because that's basically what about the other cards.
That is what the stuff is.
That's the also, there's 5 different cards to choose from in the game.
And then I, again, don't feel like it's super important what cards that I choose. But the thing is that a lot of the cards that you choose throughout like the round, if you go and do the get the tribe action or whatever it's called, you get cards immediately up on your hand that you can use the same round, and that feels very powerful. And then I have to think like, okay, what other actions do I need to do this turn? If I'm not using those cards for that, what am I using my eclipse? What am I going to need for the eclipse phase?
Absolutely. I feel like the deck building is kind of, as you said, like it's more about what cards you can get in your hand to be able to use them now. But you're kind of also building yourself up to, if you go like the different routes to go, kind of like that. One time I played, I got to draw lots of cards.
Yeah.
And then I ended up being able to go through the deck one more time, basically. And also, towards the end of the game, you're just going to take cards because they're worth a point.
Yeah.
Because all the cards are worth a point. But in the beginning, you kind of take them depending on which action you want to do. And I feel like it was kind of, I would go through more of my deck here than in Arnak, and also it's kind of two-edged. The fact that here there's only 5 different cards, because it makes it less random.
That's true.
And I enjoyed that. I know, okay, if I get this now, I can keep it in my hand and I can use it for the eclipse phase to get these 2 resources. It's not, I'm going to take it, put it there, and the next turn I can get to use it, but maybe I only draw these cards and they're so hard to draw cards so I can't get one more, and I randomly didn't draw the card I wanted, and now my turn ends, which can happen in Arnak. But it's like, it's if you hear deck building and you think about Dominion and you think about Ascension and you think about Clank, this is not a deck building game.
No.
This is like the other 2 games, a worker placement game who has a deck building element.
The deck building part of this game doesn't make me excited.
Oh, no.
It's not the most interesting part of the game. I think like when I get cards in Arnak, I'm just like, oh, I'm going to specialize my strategy. This is fun. In this game, these are basic cards. There are the cards that are always there. I'm not like, oh, this was the perfect card for me that I needed right now.
So it's kind of like
that feeling.
No, so it's a two-edged sword basically because of that. And let's go to the next part, which is the part I do enjoy quite a bit, which is the resource management of the game. You have labor, which you get from cards you play. You also can eat food, basically, to get more labor. Then you have food.
Oh, yeah, food.
Yes, food, which you use for different actions, also for labor. And then you have tools, which is the hardest, like basically the tightest resource of the game.
Yeah.
The one that you use most of the time, you don't have the tool you need. You have everything else and you don't have the tools you need. And then also the cards. Let's talk about everything but the cards first. I think like the cards is the most interesting part, but let's talk about the others first.
Yeah.
The labor, food, and tools. Like, is this a tight resource management game? Is this? How do you feel about the resource management of those like resources?
I feel like that is the tightest thing in this game. That is what makes this game tight, because everything else is quite loose. You're not blocking any spaces. You're getting to do the actions that you want, but you need these resources. Sometimes you can be a little tight on cards as well, but you can easily go take an action and get those cards if you have the resources. And you also have like a maximum amount, so you have to be like timing these actions a little bit carefully. But I think that the resource management in this game is fun.
Yeah, I like the tools, especially is the part which I already said, which is the hardest to get. I really like the hand management of this game, where you draw 5 cards at the end of the round, and if I have 3 more cards, I'm going to still draw 5 cards, and those are the cards I have. There's some things that makes you draw more cards, but you're not gonna like go through many cards. It's not like you draw 5 cards at the end of each of your turns like you usually do in a deck building game. And that means you need to use those for your 3 actions, and you also need to have some for the eclipse phase, even though you might not want to be first in player order or might not like be able to do that or want to use all your resources on that. The actions you get in the eclipse phase are very powerful, so it's important that whole management part the hand management part is a mechanism that I enjoy, and it's one of the things, like you said, like the tools are tight. I feel like the cards are tight as well. Like it's hard to have enough cards at all times.
Yes.
You agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this is a little tactical game.
Oh yeah.
I think that you can go for some strategies in this game, but I think that if you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to hunt down a lot of animals this turn, that's not the only thing that you should be doing.
I didn't win.
Yeah, because there's kind of a limit on how much you can do that.
Yeah.
And then you should also be focusing on some other strategies as well, or means to get points, because you have the time, resources, and actions to do that. So that's smart.
It's pretty weird because this is a game where you have only 12 actions basically to do, but many times, like the first time didn't feel that way, but then you play it a few times, you might end up being able to do most of the things you want to do in the 3 first rounds. And that is one thing which you talked about earlier, the fact that as you said, to the later of the game, didn't really matter for you where you got your points.
Yeah.
Because that is another thing, is the fact that most things give points. So, okay, I can go there, take those 2 animals, get 3 points, or I can go there, take 2 culture cards that give me 3 points, or I can go there, take those people that get me 3 points. Doesn't really matter. So the decisions might get less interesting the longer you go in the game. And the fact that you, like the last time we played, I read this many places that people have said this, that I couldn't manage to do it because I was horrible in the game, but you basically done everything.
Yeah, I maxed kind of.
Placed your megaliths, you placed all your villages, you had animals, you had lots of cards, you had like every part of the game. You were good at that part of the game. You had 2 sacred stones that gave you a great amount of points. Like there was nothing in the game that you didn't do well at. And so it means that you can kind of max out the game.
Yeah.
And there's lots of expansions and stuff, and we haven't played this. It's just a base game. But I feel like that is kind of a negative. It's not kind of, it's a negative of the game when you can kind of max out what you can do.
I feel the same way. Some of the things that draw me back to a game or adds to the variability is that I go back and be like, oh, now I want to do this, or now I want to see if I can crack this and do better than I did last time. And there's so far with the base game, nothing that keeps me interested in that way with this game. I feel like this game for me, going a little to the final thoughts here.
Too early,
but I feel like this needs some expansions to keep me interested.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, as I said, in variability, not too much in the base of variability. There is the one expansion called Ancestors. I'm unsure if that was like a Kickstarter exclusive. I hope not, because that adds like new chief cards, has abilities. It adds new cards that you can buy. And I haven't really looked at them because we wanted to do a review of just the base game. Yeah. But I heard that they make the game tighter. Like you get less labor from the cards. It's not so easy to do everything.
That's nice.
So wait.
And who is it for? I think that this is a medium game. You said, oh, maybe it's a medium plus. I kind of agree with that because of the resource management is a little tight, and you have to be like, okay, do I want to spend this here? And really think about that puzzle yourself. It's just like go to an action and do this. You have to think about what you want to do there. Yeah,
and it's kind of weird because it is one of those games where the actions are very simple, but still it takes a while to do your actions because there's so many elements to think about, which makes it
rabbit holes
heavier than a medium game for me. And I feel like this is obviously for people who want to play a worker placement game with deck building in it. I think that if you enjoy medium worker placement games, I think you might like this. If you don't care too much about it being super strategical, super like I'm gonna go for this thing, or care too much about everybody doing their own like path. If you care about that, I think you might think this is not super good. But if you do not care about that, I think you might like this.
Yeah, and if you don't like this these super punishing if you do something wrong
Yeah.
games. I think this is a game where you can kind of decide yourself if you want to set yourself in a position with no resources. If you've gone too heavy for like one action, then you have, I think that is interesting.
So let's do some final thoughts. Do you want to begin?
Yeah. Right now, this game is on another pile of games. The base game in itself isn't exciting for me. I think it's good, but nothing more. I think that I really want to play the expansions, but right now, as it stands alone as a base game, I'm not going to recommend it because I just think that it doesn't have the staying power to like be lovable in a collection for a long time throughout many plays. I have enjoyed my plays of it, but I don't feel like I have these reasons to come back for it if we didn't have the expansions that we wanted to try out.
Makes sense.
So I'm like it's right there. Right now it's an okay game. Well, I think it's good. I think what you do in this game is fun. So I'm going to rate this a 7, and that's me.
Yeah, I think I like this game a bit more than you. I think that I even though you like end up doing things for points, it's like very point salady. I feel like there's small different paths like to go down, even though like you are good and get to do everything all the time. I'm not that good at games, which makes me maybe enjoy it more because I don't max it out. But I think that there's many things to like here. I think that I enjoy like many of the aspects, but as you, I'm not in love with the base game of it. I enjoy the thinking process. I enjoy being like, oh, I really want to go there now, so you get that super bonus, but oh no, you went there first. And that's kind of like the part that is better with more people. But sadly, it then takes so long to play because 3 hours is way too long for this game, and hopefully you could get it down, obviously. And so for me, it's a 7.5. I enjoy many of the aspects of it, but I don't love it, but I like it enough, as you said, to want to play the expansions to see what they add to the game. And that is the end. If you are still here and you have not subscribed, you can do so now by
clicking the subscribe button down there. It's fun and it's free and makes us happy, like this. If you want to do something that's not free, you can.
Go to patreon.com/boardgamingramblings and support us there. And that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.